Hiya, welcome back to another episode of Faeria. In one of the last episodes I discussed the fact that I'd got a Steam Summer Sale pack, so we got loads of new chests to open up and I was going to work on a brand new deck with you guys. So I did a lot of planning offline, disenchanted a few cards that I'd picked up, so within the chests that I unlocked I picked up a Mythic Tarum legendary card, so when disenchanted that gave me 400 crystals to use to kind of create new cards. So I had a look at that. I'd spent a lot of time thinking about how to make a good deck. I'd done some research online, getting some advice from some of the sort of the Faeria pros, and so I came up with the deck that we're going to have a play around with. So I might have got a little bit excited, and I've gone ahead and I've built the deck. So I'm going to just talk you through it. So we've gone for a yellow deck, completely yellow, no neutral cards at all, and overall it's quite cheap in cost. The highest one being a 6, but the majority being down in this sort of really low cost rank. It's going to be it's going to be good for quick rush attacks. So I'm just going to talk you through some of the cards that we've got. So we've got the Flash Wind in there, which allows us to move any of our friendly creatures or an enemy creature if we play some Faeria, but it's going to be really useful for us to be able to kind of push or pull some of our characters in the instance where we're up against a character with taunt. So if the enemy's played taunt cards, the only thing we can do is attack them. With a Flash Wind you can actually move away from a taunt card. That allows you to kind of get in, attack on the god or whatever. The alternative is you can obviously move the enemy creature out of the way and do the attack from there. So useful for kind of taunts, but also good for the rush at the start, because if you do happen to have one there you can kind of push your character one step further forwards without having to wait another turn for them to move. Similar in that it costs nothing, Kalim's Prayer. So whenever we actually attack a god, Kalim's Prayer will, if we play it, it will give us 2 Faeria and a card. So quite useful at no cost. So yeah, we've got 3 of those in the deck. We also have the Wind Gate, which is a structure. It requires 1 yellow tile, so really good in the early game stages of a yellow deck. And what it basically does is we deploy it down, and any of the tiles are adjacent to the Wind Gate we can then deploy any of our creatures on, as long as we've got the prerequisite details. But yes, it means we can deploy stuff on enemy territory, essentially, or on neutral spaces, even though it's a yellow card. So pretty useful, especially if you kind of draw it early on, so that you can kind of move forwards onto their tiles if they've deployed them. Kalim's Follower does damage to a god. That's all it does. It's got haste though, so haste card really useful in this sort of rush deck. Demon Wrangler I've added in there. So what we do have in the deck, I've come down here because it kind of links in, is the Wind Soldier. So the Wind Soldier, it's got 3 attack, 1 life. It dies at the end of its turn, but it's got haste and charge 3. So if you can deploy that, you can move forwards quite quickly, get a hit on the god, it'll sit there. At the end of your turn, it'll die. But with something like Demon Wrangler, we can sacrifice that creature and convert it into a 5/2 flying demon wing instead. So we get the advantage of the quick attack with the Wind Soldier, but we can also go and kind of convert it into something useful, as well as having the Demon Wrangler card there, the creature there itself. So that's pretty cool. Also sort of works with the Deathwalker, so if you apply the Wind Soldier in the same way that we just discussed, and then with the Deathwalker you can go in there, do a Death Touch on it, so it kills that one off, the Wind Soldier off, and then deploy the Deathwalker, which has got a 6/4, so that's quite a powerful one and a cheap cost. So they're quite good. Soul Drains, so that we can drain life from a creature, useful for when we need to kind of chip away at something which has got high health, or get a bit of our health back ourselves, take out some of the low level cards, things like that. Similarly, we also have Choking Sand, which will destroy a creature with 3 attack or less. So useful for kind of cleaning the board up. Should we come up against something really epic though, we've got the Last Nightmare card, which will destroy any creature. So if they've got a legendary, or they've got a really high health card, we can use that to get it out of the way. The Eradrin Monk has got haste and gives us a card whenever we attack a god, so that's useful for kind of getting more cards out into our deck, allowing us to really rush it and move quickly. Shaitan Demon is a risky card in many senses, because it deals 2 damage to yourself every turn, so you kind of need to use it and kill it off pretty quick. So you're wanting to take on things which have got higher attack than 4 or higher attack generally, or you want to be attacking their god. That way every turn you do 5 damage and you do 2 back to yourself, so you're winning essentially. Moving on down, Air Elemental. The Air Elemental allows us to create a desert, really good if we can pull those out early. I've got them down kind of 1 mythic, 1 not mythic, doesn't really make a difference, but so there's 2 of those there, and they're really good at the start if you get one of those, because you can deploy 1 of the yellow tiles down, and then you get another one that you can deploy straight in front of it, which then kind of powers most of the rest of our cards. Choking Sand covered. Zealous Crusader gets a buff every time we attack a god, so if we can get out there really quick and hit the god up, get some damage on it, this Zealous Crusader is going to get a 1/1 buff every time. So there's a decent chance that that's going to get quite high, and we can use that to take out things like Oak Fathers and other sort of high damage, high health cards. Then we've got our legendary Kaleem Sky Prodigy. So really useful card if you can get it into play. In that whenever it attacks a god, Kaleem will create a Kaleem's follower. Kaleem's follower being this guy, the one which does a +2/+0 against gods and has haste. So it gives us one of those in our deck, but it costs nothing. So that's pretty useful. It's also got flying and charge too, so it allows you to kind of dodge around to get Faeria if you need to. So useful for sort of movement. So that's the deck as it stands. And yeah, so that's the deck, and moving on from there, I had a little play with Masterless. We tried the deck out. He's got a similar one, and we kind of played each other in the sense that I was yellow, he was green, I was yellow, he was red, he did yellow, we neutral. We kind of mixed it up a bit, practiced like that, and now, well, after that I was unable to do a recording, so I kind of had the bug. I was addicted. It was fun. It was cool. It was great. So I went in and I've done some ranked battle matches. So within here, you've got the casual play, the practice play, and then ranked. Ranked, you start at level 25. So using our new ranked deck only, I've gone from level 25 to level 18. So that's the positive way. So you're counting down to level 0, 0 being top level. So that's what we're working towards. So I've played some matches, and so far it's been pretty good. I mean, we've come up against a couple of decks which have caused us problems. So there's been some with high taunt cards. We've got a few things in there to take some of those out, but if they have more than we have the things to take them out with, it becomes a challenge. So some of those were challenging, and I think there was also a charger based wind deck which also caused us a little bit of trouble, but generally we've done reasonable. So now what we're going to do is going to go and see if we can get into some online matches and show you how this one plays. I'll try and talk you through my my thoughts as I'm going as well. So yeah, I'm so far quite pleased with it. I think as we kind of progress onwards, we might find it we struggle more, because we're going to come up against decks which are probably a bit more challenging. Probably got more legendaries in there as well. yeah, so I mean, we'll see how it goes. Whilst we're waiting for a game to load up, though, I want to do a shout out to Joachim Engfors. So he's a YouTuber. Check him out. He, well, let's say he was the inspiration for the deck. So he's got a video out there which kind of outlines this deck and how you build it and stuff like that. He also shows you how to use it. So he's been kind of really useful in kind of building this one up. Here we go. So what we will be up against? So we're up against a level 20. I will get rid of the Shaitan Demon and one of the Flash Winds. I'll keep the other one for now. That's a kind of a shame. There are better starting hands to have, but you know, it's going to take us a couple of turns, so we're going straight in for the kill, in that we're going straight head-on attack at this stage. So we will draw a couple more cards before we actually get to play anything anyway, but it's much better if I can get like one of the air elementals or something like that down. Okay, so we're up against a water deck, so he's got the water elemental doing kind of what we would have liked to have done. Last Nightmare destroys a creature. Don't want to have to use that yet, for sure. We've got to be clever though, because this guy's going to jump there potentially, and in 2 turns he can start doing 3 damage attack on us. If we go bump bump, we still can't deploy anything, and then we've still got another 2 turns before we can actually deploy anything. So I'm thinking maybe drop one of those down for now. We can potentially drop another one here, depending on what he deploys. I mean, he might do the jump and then drop tiles down. There you go. So that's kind of say. With us having haste cards and the Flash Wind, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I mean, these guys kind of are challenging. Okay, so yeah, we definitely need to be able to do some damage. So I want to get this guy out. So I'm going to deploy in here, that there. That's going to kind of cut off his attack ability. I mean, he can deploy a tile still kind of down here or over here and kind of get in there, but it just kind of slows things down slightly. Let's think about it. If we deploy Kaleem, we can use a Flash Wind on Kaleem to move him over here. That will kind of get us that Faeria point on our next go, and we can also do some more building, or we can move in here and do some building up there. So it gets us into a better area from an attacking perspective. So he might jump over here to try and attack Kaleem. Yeah, there you go. Gone slightly defensively there. We'll go in and get an attack on this guy. So he's pulled out because he knows this guy's going to do damage to me. So I obviously don't want him around too long, because he's going to keep doing more damage to me. We need to kind of get through, which is kind of annoying because we can't, because he's played that guy there. We don't have anything to take him out at the minute, so I might draw a card, Choking Sand. That will allow us to take him out. So if is it worth us doing it yet? I'm not sure he's worth 4. I might move down here, get the extra Faeria point at the moment, shore ourselves up a little bit. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Really need to kind of get up in his end, up in his grill, because this is a rush deck and we have not been able to rush so far, because he's kind of rushed us back. Ooh, that's nasty. That's not good. That kind of really limits us with Kaleem. I mean, at the end of the day, this deck does work without Kaleem, but he definitely strengthens it. And yeah, it's not ideal that we're killing ourselves at the minute. So we'll move this guy. If we move him there, he's got jump, so he can keep moving. He can really hop away from us. But I need more cards. I'm going to move forwards. I'm going to go in for the attack up there, because at that point he's going to really want to do some damage to us. If we can take another card, we've got a Wind Soldier. Thinking next time round we may have to move forwards, drop down a tile in there, and then we can actually start doing some attacks. Other than that, I might take out. Do I want to take him out? Do I want to take him out? He's collecting Faeria, which isn't great for me. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Kind of holds him back a little bit. Not overly happy with the fact that we had to use the Shaitan Demon, then he backed off. But it is what it is. This is why we kind of play in these games. Learn. You know, it's not always going to come straight away. So he's filling in the defensive tiles now. It's a good move. I mean, if we get the wind gate up, then it won't be so bad, because we can kind of start moving that up forwards. But we could really do with some of the flash winds. Let's think about it. We can't really deploy a tile, so wherever we move we can't really deploy any good tiles, so it's probably not worth using that. Cards are probably more powerful to us in a minute, not so much that card typically. Yeah, that's not so useful. I will move in here though. Unless he gets a buff, Kaleem will survive if he does attack us, and we can still kind of then get in to do him some damage on our next turn, so it's kind of progressive. He's going to give protection to... Oh, he's giving me protection. Sneaky little. Okay, so we want to get Kaleem up here for sure. That's funny, you can't actually deploy a tile up even though Kaleem's there. If we go and attack this frog now, we can use Soul Drain to take out our Shaitan Demon, powers us back up again. Thinking, so he's a 4/6 jobby, so we've got a lot of Faeria at the minute, and with Kaleem in this sort of position we can get a couple of followers out quite quickly. Let's think about this. So if we do that, and again, it's expensive, I don't like it, but we're kind of low on the health, so we kind of need to at the minute, I think. Then if we can't really get him far forwards, draw a card. It's not what I wanted. Gonna deploy them now. I'm gonna go with this guy. Moving forwards one. Hopefully we can kind of get him forwards again, and then drop some tiles down. I can also move Kaleem in here and start dropping a tile on that side or something if that doesn't really work. Just give us a bit of a backup though. See, I think my tactics aren't necessarily great at this stage, but I really am still learning this deck. And then next creature you draw with 5 life or more costs 2 less. I think he did that the wrong way around. Not complaining, but okay. So he's dropped down those defensive tiles now, so we have to do it slightly differently. It's okay. It's not going to last much longer though, Mr. Kaleem, and I forgot to use Kaleem's Prayer on the last one as well, which is a bit silly. Do that. What we can do is a follow-up to there. It's kind of getting those guys quite good. Might deploy one of those down in there. Throw off the Kaleem's Prayer. Gives us a soul drain. Let's take that guy out. 5/6 to 6/6. So I'll drop him down there as well. So on our next turn we can kind of take out that guy and we're in a strong position to attack in. Might as well move this one forwards. And we'll go with that. We've still got our last Nightmare card there, so if we do have any difficulties or he pulls out some big guns, we can still take those out. We will lose Kaleem though here. It's alright though, we've got a couple of the followers out for nothing. Okay. Demon Wrangler, there you go. So we'll take this guy out to start with. Can use Soul Drain on him, that'll heal us up a bit, gets him out of the way. Can move this one. Do you want to move that one? No, we'll move this guy over here, that guy in there. Boom. Boom. Then what I'll do is I'll use the Demon Wrangler. Take this guy out. Gives us a nice 5/2. If he attacks, we're going to take him out. If he doesn't, we've got a good hit on the god. So I think we're probably going to be okay now. Kaleem's Prayer, just to help us out. Another soul drain. Might as well do that on that guy. Heals us up a little bit. Is it worth it, or should we keep it? I'll hold on to it just in case. Take another card. Air Elemental. Don't really need that right now. Should be good. Pulling lots of cards, it kind of means he's not got something to do it. There we go, victory. So I don't necessarily know that we did it the right way there, but it worked, and we were in a fairly solid position at the end, so I think we kind of paced ourselves okay. So yeah, that's our brand new deck. I'm going to throw in there, get another game on the go, and see how we do in that one, see what else we come up with. But yeah, if you've got any thoughts about the deck or how I'm playing it, drop some comments down below. I'd really like to hear your thoughts on that. Also, you know, tell me about your decks. If you're a Faeria player, you know, what do you play? Are you a yellow or are you a red? What's your best deck? I know there's a lot of different variations of the yellow out there. So there's the Charger one where you've got I think they're Wind Charger creatures in your deck instead. They kind of fly around a bit, and I think they get a buff when you play events. So I've seen that. That seems to be quite powerful. And then there's some sort of slightly mixed ones where you've got I think some of the fire and the wind. So red and yellow, but also then there's some pure red ones. I think it kind of depends on the legendaries you've drawn. Some of the legendaries are not that great, so if you Google it, something like legendary Ranked Faeria, something along those lines, you'll see that there's kind of like a ranking system for the different legendaries. Some of them are quite highly rated, so Kaleem is one of the better ones, but then some of them, even though I like him myself, Runing's quite low rated as a legendary, which I understand because he costs like 6 and he starts off with a 4/4 damage, so you're gonna have to spend like 12 on him before he's at 6/6 level, and even that's not amazing really for the cost of a legendary. I mean, Kaleem's a 5 cost legendary, and he can potentially give us a load of these Kaleem followers who you know, so he's pretty powerful in that sense. This isn't too bad a start. I think I will drop the Kaleen follower and Soul Drain for the moment, because that's no better. I should have stuck with what we had. Sometimes you get something slightly better, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll see. We can survive with that. I mean, it's good to have the Last Nightmare in our hand already, because we may need it at some point. Obviously, can't afford it yet or use it yet, but good to have. And if we do get that first kind of Wind Soldier attack out, we've got the Kaleem's Prayer to help us out. Fire deck. Let's go standard response. I'm going to hold off the Explore for the moment. I'm kind of unsure what to do with that in some senses, because it's like sometimes I've seen people and they do the bang 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 with all three of them. Sometimes I've seen people do the two and wait to see what the opponent's response is. So, you know, he might be thinking, oh, he's not quite so attacking in this sense. He's only got 2 down. It's not that scary. So it's psychological. So he's gone off that way. Whereas now I can kind of, it's gone off that way still. So I can deploy the Explore and a yellow card down there. Kind of gets us a bit closer. Does it psychologically make a difference? I don't know. But, you know, we'll see. I'm going to save my Soul Drain for the moment, because we can't deploy it because we've not got enough tiles down, but Fire Elemental is a decent candidate for that. Its high level of attack kind of threatens us a bit, and we can't get something like the Wind Soldier out at the minute because he's in the way. What will his next move be? And what sort of deck is it? Obviously it's red. Do we have red blue? Just red? If it's red, is it one which is going to do range damage to us? Is it one that's got some hard hitters in there? He's obviously thinking, taking his time. So I'm not sure what's going on at this stage of the game. It's like, is he trying to piss me off and make me want to leave? Because it's like, surely early on he's not got that many choices. Or is it a connection issue? Or am I not really paying attention? I'm actually off kind of doing something else. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. But it annoys me a little bit when you get that situation so early on in the game. I understand it later, because there's a bit more thought around the later at the end game. Okay, so we've got Firewind deck going on. Yeah, we need to get another one out, so deploy another one there. He can still kind of come down at us now because he's got that tile. If I do a Soul Drain, Wind Soldier in here with an attack, we can pull off a Kaleem, and we've kind of got the early game advantage. On our next go I can pull out the Kaleem again, put the Kaleem out, and hopefully get a sand deck over here or something. Strengthen our attacking position. I probably could have used the Deathwalker there actually. That was kind of silly. That would have been a really powerful start. But hey, as I say, ain't perfect. This guy's pretty decent. I like him. He's useful. Okay, so we'll start with him. Go in like that. We'll deploy that there. Can deploy the monk there. Get that attack on the go. That attack on the go. I imagine he's probably going to try and take me out with his air elemental there. So I'm probably going to deploy the Deathwalker in his place. 6/4. He can do 4 damage, so he can take me out, but I can take him out as well. Is it worth it? I don't know. Possibly not. Possibly not at this stage, because you're going to lose him, and we could probably do something better with him in a little bit. I'll hold off. See, you know, we knew that was coming, but oh, savage. So I wonder whether he's got Sifa in his card. in his hand even. So Seaford the Legendary is also quite popular to be used. I'm not 100% sure exactly on his skill set. I think it gives a buff to people or something like that, but it's pretty potent, I think. Okay, Air Elemental, that's not too bad. Shame we don't have any haste cards at the moment. So if we deploy that guy there, we can get another one there. Take a card, Wind Soldier. So 3/3, that's cool. So we can kind of deploy the Wind Soldier, move over, get that hit. We can deploy the Death Walker for him. So the Wind Soldier is going to die at the end of that turn. So hey, we might as well. If he's thinking about it correctly, he should probably take out my Death Walker with his Air Elemental rather than my Air Elemental with his Air Elemental. But you know, we'll see. The advantage I do have with the Air Elemental, if I do manage to pull out some kind of haste cards and stuff, is that I can fly him over there and start getting some Faeria, which is nice. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, Grimguard. It's got Taunt. Don't like Grimguard. We can use Choking Sand on that though. So we'll take that. No, not Demon Wrangler. Choking Sand. Move this guy in here. That way we're covering up that tile, so we can't kind of do something in the next go. Amazing. I'll give him a well played because it might be over soon, and he's kind of like, what am I doing? But we'll see. He might be taunting me. He's thinking long and hard. I mean, he's got six magic, so he can do something. But tiles are his problem. What does he deploy it on? I mean, ideally he's got something yellow that he can deploy there with haste that he can just kind of bing bang take us out. We're in the position at the minute we've got no Faeria, so we're only going to get 3, possibly the bonus 1, but what are we going to draw that's going to take out 6 damage? Probably nothing. So if he does manage to take out the Air Elemental, we're probably going to need at least 2 turns to do him in. Gonna run out of time. Okay. So yeah, that's game over then. Oh, he's surrendered. Boom. They're all level up there. So first win in the day gets you a star. If you win if you win a few in a row, you get 2 stars every win instead of 1 star. If it's just a single win, then it's a single star. Completed a daily quest, play 10 events, 400, 30 for winning the match, and yeah, so that's our brand new deck. I'm going to play around with it a bit more, going to rank up a little bit more in the ranked stuff, and then I'll bring you back in for another video and show you some of the higher end games, hopefully, if we win. I'm feeling hopeful, got my fingers crossed. Yeah, and we're going to give that a go. Playing these matches, doing the daily quests and stuff like that, I'm picking up some decent gold. We've also got Goki the gold miner that came as part of our Steam Summer Sale, so every day that we log on, Goki gives us a random amount of gold, getting sort of between 400 and 600 most days at the minute, so that's reasonable, kind of tops us up a bit, so we can use that potentially to buy more chests, or we can go and hit up a Pandora run. So I may do another Pandora run soon, 2000. That's potentially going to give some chests, possibly a mythic chest, something like that. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you do have any advice on the deck or how to play with it better, drop some comments down below. Look forward to hearing from you. Check me out on Twitter. Look up my mate Masterless. He's also doing some Faeria games, so if you're into the Faeria videos, have a look at his ones. You'll see some similar kind of play styles, but also a few different things. He's got some different decks to me, so look out for those. He's also taking on the world bosses. Masterless is at level 100 at the minute, so he's kind of taking on some of the higher level bosses. So look out for those if you're interested in that. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already. That'd be great. See you around. Take care.